Hi everyone, welcome to Tiny Learn Hub. Here we are basically trying to solve all the SQL Interview Lab questions where we learn the SQL concepts, one principle, and one particular topic at a time. So if you have been following this series, thank you for your amazing support. So far we have covered in the episode one, that select versus the distinct. Episode two is where versus having, and episode 3 is group by, and episode 4 is order by. Today we are going to solve a very practical problem that every SQL developer faces. Imagine your database concept in here, like in database, we have 10 million employee records. Okay. Do you think loading all 10 million rows every single time is a good idea? I don't think so. It is definitely not a good idea. So most applications only need a few records at a time. And that's exactly where SQL provides the limit, top, and fetch first. By the end of this video, you will understand how this clause works, and then we can use them in our database in our SQL query, and the difference between the popular SQL database. So let's start with this one. Now, first thing first, we're going to execute our first query, that is select from employees. So this is the database where we are using since from the beginning, the employee database. So right now our table contains only a few records. So displaying everything isn't a problem. But imagine this table contains millions of employees, and returning every row would consume more memory and take longer to transfer over the network and slow down your application. As a developer, we should retrieve only the data we actually need. And now I have one question to our viewer, like suppose your manager says I only want to see the first three employees. Okay, so would you still retrieve every row? Think about it. I don't think so. No, we need a better approach. Okay, so for this one, we have our another query. Let me run this one. So as you see, the limit clause. So what it actually mean by this limit clause? It tells the SQL to return only the specific number of rows. In this example, we are asking SQL to return just the first three records. This is supported by SQLite, MySQL, and PostgreSQL. One important thing to remember is that a limit only control how many rows and return on basis of that one. It doesn't control which rows are returned unless you combined it with order by. So in real world example, think about YouTube. When you open the home page and YouTube doesn't load a million of videos, and it loads a small set. As you scroll, it loads more. The same idea applies to Instagram, Amazon, Netflix, and LinkedIn as well. Now, behind the scene, SQL queries often see limit and offset to retrieve the data efficiently. Okay. Now, uh, let's come to the another question. Suppose, what if the HR asks, show me the five highest paid employee? Will limit five alone solve this problem? Think about it. It is not necessary because SQL may return any five rows if we don't specify an order. Okay, so let me execute the next query, that is this one. So in here, we first sort the employees by salary in descending order. Okay, then limit 5 returns only the first 5 rows from the sorted list. Now, this gives us the five highest paid employee, and this is one of the most common interview question involving limit. Okay. Now, next come to the pagination. Like here is another challenge for you. What happened if I want to display the employees 6 to 10 instead of 1 to 5? Can SQL do that? Absolutely, it can do that. Let's execute the next query. Yeah, so this is the one. So here, let me execute this one first. So here, this query returns the first page. Limit is 5, means return the first 5 rows. This is the one. And offset. Offset 0 means doesn't skip any row. It don't skip any kind of row in here. Now, if I want to execute our next query, so in here, SQL skips the first 5 rows and return the next 5. This technique is called pagination and is used in almost every web application. In the real world example, think about browsing product in Amazon or scrolling through the LinkedIn. You don't see everything at once. Each page or scroll loads a small set of results. That pagination and SQL makes it possible with limit and offset. Now, next come to the another query. So that is top. So in here, let me execute this one first. So as you see, we have some error coming. Okay. So far we have used the limit, but not every database uses the same syntax. Okay. So in here, when I am executing this top and executing this query, the second one, this one, if you try to do it in the SQL Lite, you will get an error because SQL Lite doesn't support the top. Okay. So and the next query, like this one, the select from employee order by the salary descending, fetch first 3 rows only. This fetch first approach, Oracle and many modern database supports. Different database have different syntax, but they all solve the same problem, returning only a specific number of rows. Now, let's come to the interview corner. Okay, so here comes the interview question. Suppose why should limit usually be used order by? It is a good approach to answer this one. Like without order by, SQL doesn't guarantee which row will be returned. Using order by ensure that we retrieve the specific rows we want, such as the highest paid employee or the latest orders. This is the thing. Now, so another question is that which clause would you use in SQL Lite? So that would be in limit. If you want like use this limit clause in MySQL as well, you can use that. Now in Postgres, can you use this one like limit and the fetch first? Absolutely, you can do that one. SQL Server, you can use the top, and the Oracle use the fetch first. Okay, so you can use this one. Now here comes the common mistakes which are made by the all the newcomers or the developers as well. So using limit without order by when you expect the specific result. This is a mistake. You have to use the order by. Now, trying to use the top in SQL Lite or MySQL, it won't work. It will give you the error which will looks like this one, the parts error. This is the error you will get. Okay. Now, forgetting that the different databases have different syntax, you have to think about it. What is the syntax we have, okay, in our database? Now, assuming pagination works without sorting the data, that is not going to work. Pagination only work on the sorted data. Now, here comes one practice challenge for you. So, before you leave, here is today's challenge. Write a query that displays the top 3 highest paid employee. This is your query. So I'm repeating the question. Write a query that displays the top three highest paid employees. Okay, here comes the answer. So this is the query. Okay, yeah. So it will show the highest paid employees in finance only. We have the finance team, so it will show this one. So as per my database concept, this is the one. So today's episode, we basically learned the limit, top, fetch first, offset, pagination, and database differences. These concepts are used every day in real-world application to improve the performance and user experience. If you found this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone preparing for SQL interviews. In episode 6, we'll begin one of the most exciting topics in SQL, that is inner join. We'll learn how to combine the data from multiple tables, which is a skill every SQL developer must master. Thank you for watching. Till then, bye.